Hello, everybody. Welcome to this short video, which asks the question, what is writing? Hello, and welcome to this class, which is dedicated to promoting your skills and your confidence as a writer. As you have probably already discovered over the course of your education, literacy, the ability to read and write, plays a central role in teaching and learning. There are many other useful academic skills that can help you succeed in school, but being able to work with written texts, both being able to decode them, reading, and being able to produce them, writing, is uniquely important. This is because of the critical role that writing and reading have historically played in the production and evolution of human knowledge. In fact, it is literally true that history began when human beings started writing things down about 6,000 years ago. The time before people began writing things down is known as prehistory. And although people lived and did things during this time, our understanding of how they lived and what they did is extremely fuzzy, since there are no written records to tell us. Once writing systems began to emerge, however, they leave behind the voices of ancient people and ancient ways of thinking that come alive through the power of the written word, even over the gulf of thousands of years. This is a vivid example of the power of writing to communicate across generations, to pass on knowledge and ways of thinking, and to help us see other people in other times and places, even people who may appear very different to us, through the lens of a common humanity. Indeed, writing may be the most uniquely human thing that people do. Other animals use tools and vocalize with sometimes very elaborate syntax and vocabularies, but no other animal has ever written a sentence. That's a job for humans. And in many ways, for better or for worse, writing has become the human capacity that has allowed our species to develop in a few thousand short years, from clay tablets to laptop computers, and from scattered Neolithic tribes to a global techno-civilization. This is because writing allows ideas to grow and build from one sentence to the next, from one writer to the next, and from one civilization to the next. Ordinarily, ideas come and go through consciousness without sticking together or accumulating. They just pass through in a state of flow. But when you write an idea down, suddenly two very important effects happen. From idea to thing. First, the idea has gone from being a subjective experience in your own head to becoming a thing in the world. It suddenly exists in a way that allows people, yourself included, to consider it objectively. And two, from one idea to new ideas. Secondly, because you have to find specific words to express the idea takes on a very specific form. It's no longer a hazy concept. It's suddenly a specific string of words that anyone else can come along and either agree with or dispute. This is what makes writing such a powerful engine for intellectual progress, both for individuals and for civilizations. Once the idea is articulated in the form of a sentence, then it can operate as a starting point for other sentences, building upward and outward in ways that generate new ideas and new ways of thinking. These two effects are reflected by the fact that the word writing can be used as either a noun or a verb. As a noun, we can talk about a piece of writing, the writing you've done in other English classes, the writings of William Shakespeare, etc. Something you have written is a product of your brain, whether it's an email, a research paper, or a social media post. As such, it's a kind of objective representation of yourself, of how you think and who you are. Other people can see it and use it as a kind of clue to what's going on inside your head, how you see the world, and how you express yourself. For this reason, being able to produce this kind of writing is extremely useful when it comes to communicating with other people, especially in academic and professional contexts. When people think about this institutional function of writing, its ability to help you make a good impression on employers and professors, they usually think about grammar, spelling, and punctuation. While it's true that these technical aspects of writing are important, impactful communication is about much more than putting the commas in the right place, and indeed, plenty of professional people write effectively every day without ever mastering the Byzantine rules that govern comma usage. Effective writing is about the size of your ideas and the passion of your voice. If you have big ideas and an enthusiasm for expressing them, the commas tend to take care of themselves. The most impactful writing in any context is writing that expresses the presence of the writer, a piece of writing, a noun or object, that actually performs the miracle of manifesting a living, speaking, thinking person. But it is also the case that writing is also a verb. something you do, as in, I am writing a paper for my English class. This may sound obvious, but it is important to stop and think about the strange and magical process of writing. What goes on in a person's brain when they take pen to paper or fingers to laptop and start turning their thoughts into sentences? While students in an English class are likely to focus on the noun function of writing, they want to be able to hand in their final paper so that they can get a grade, this class is particularly interested in the verb function of writing, giving you opportunities to think through the stages of what we will regularly be referring to as the writing process. The process starts with what's going on in your head and in your body and in your memory at any given moment. What do you care about? What inspires you or makes you angry? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? And what do you have to say? What's on your mind? Ideas related to these questions are always drifting in and out of your mind all the time. When you identify any one of these random ideas as something that you want to stop and take a look at, the writing process has begun with the most important step, identifying something that you want to understand more fully. You might start writing at this point, but not in the interest of cranking out a 10-page research paper. You might start writing out a few words related to your idea, writing out some questions, testing out some ways of phrasing your idea. A writer who knows how to take advantage of the writing process might start free writing about the idea, just writing out whatever thoughts come to mind and seeing what comes out. Anyone who free writes with an open-minded attitude will usually discover that while they might start off by writing out ideas that they already have, the writing process begins to summon forth ideas that they didn't realize they had. They might start to make new connections to other ideas that they didn't think of at first as being connected, or to ask questions that they hadn't thought of asking before, or to discover dimensions of their original idea that were not at first evident. There is actually a neurological explanation for why this happens. Words are stored throughout the brain as complex clusters of associations that weave throughout the entire neocortex, and that also delve down into the deeper regions of the brain. Writing turns this web of linguistic neural structures into a kind of trawling net of consciousness, scooping up subconscious ideas, and also as a conceptual gene splicer, creating new configurations of neuronal connections that give birth to new ideas that didn't exist in your head at all, or anyone else's, before the writing process generated them. Free writing captures the essence of this idea of writing as a verb, and the same effect also kicks into action when you write out a response to something you've read, when you compile notes for an outline, or when you draft out sentences for a formal piece of writing. These are all other parts of the writing process, and they all culminate typically in the production of a piece of writing as a noun. But the key to becoming a more confident and versatile writer is to embrace the journey by experimenting with the power of writing to help you to learn, create, and flourish in college and beyond. This class is dedicated to the goal of giving you the tools, the practice, and the encouragement to take full advantage of this power of writing to empower you as a student and as a human being, to find and to use your own voice, and to contribute to the 6,000-year-old project of changing the world and expanding human consciousness one sentence at a time.